What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel, and today, viewer beware, because you are in for a scare. We are back in the world of Goosebumps, of course, from Trick or Treat Studios, and we have Night of the Living Dummy, perhaps one of the most famous Goosebumps series of all time. In fact, Slappy himself got his own book series more recently, Goosebumps Slappy World. Of course, if people are fans of the original Goosebumps, they may have not followed the newer ones as much, but originally we had, Night of the Living, or we had the Goosebumps line, and then Goosebumps Series 2000 in the late 90s to kind of revamp it, and then in the late 2000s we got Goosebumps Horrorland, then Goosebumps Hall of Horrors, then Goosebumps Most Wanted, I believe, and I think after Most Wanted we got Goosebumps Slappy World, and a lot of the stories were related to Slappy, obviously, one of the more popular characters, but I was super excited about this line. I had to get all of them. I still have one more left. Let me say that again. I have one more left to get that I haven't picked up yet, which is the Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. But I will be getting that eventually. Of course, we got Slappy there. Not the biggest figure in the world, but he's a ventriloquist dummy. He's not supposed to be big. I mean, you get all the original feelings of the classic Tim Jacobus artwork with this packaging. So cool. The slime stand with the trading card looks like just like the original artwork, which is great. Of course, where it says Trick or Treat, that normally would have said Scholastic back in the day. Of course, the spine, I mean, that looks just like a Goosebumps book. Number 7, of course, Night of the Living Dummy, R.L. Stine. Very, very cool stuff. And then in classic Goosebumps fashion, we have all the other characters, and I love a good roster on the back. We've unboxed the Haunted Mask here on the channel. If you haven't seen that was probably about a month ago at this point, so it's actually been a minute. But of course, I do have the Mummy from Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, and the Mud Monster from You Can't Scare Me, and then of course the Scarecrow Walks at Midnight will be the next one I pick up. I'm still hoping for an announcement on Wave 2. We haven't heard anything yet. I would love to see Attack of the Mutant. That would be great. Phantom of the Auditorium would be a layup. The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena. Come on, are you kidding me? So many fun characters they could do. And of course, build a Bonehead. You can build Curly. We actually have, over here, if I can grab it, we have one of Curly's legs. So, yeah, doesn't do a whole lot right now, but eventually we'll be able to put old Curly together. I'll put this off to the side as we like to build out this line. But very, very cool. Like I said, I think Trick or Treat's doing really cool stuff, and they're getting featured in the Walmart, like a horror, I don't want to say in caps, but little horror sections. So that's pretty cool, right? Like, hopefully the more of them are to come, because I would love to see more of these. I love this too. Like, the packaging on this is absolutely top notch. These are a $25 retail price. Is it worth that? I would say no, but it is really, really cool. I know a lot of people are doing their own Goosebumps-inspired books now. A good friend of mine, A.D. Arrow, he was on our podcast a few months ago. He was doing a book series called Bumps in the Night, which is really cool. Very Goosebumps-inspired. Lots of cool stuff there. He's got 3 books out, so if you're into the Goosebumps stuff, I would say check some of those out. There's another series called Scareville, Fright Factory, a bunch of different ones. I don't want to leave anyone out, but there's so many, it's hard to remember them all. But they're all kind of doing their own version of Goosebumps, which I think is a really cool thing. So I'd like to see more of that as well. Let me open this guy up. Of course, we've got the tape, the tab there, not too bad. I do know one thing about these, and I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video. Every time I have bought one of these, it has flagged me for age, saying you have to be like over 17 to purchase this. Well, if you know me at all, I'm a smidge over 17 these days. But I find that interesting, because I think it's just labeled as like horror stuff, and they don't really put any thought into it. Because I'm like, well, this is a kid's book series. Nice big thick box. Nothing else there. So okay, I get that you want to be over a certain age for like maybe a NECA, Texas Chainsaw Massacre figure. Okay, I'm with you there, but this is very literally for kids. So I'm like, I don't know. I find that a little bit peculiar, but what are you gonna do? Of course, we got the stand there with the slime. Very, very cool. We got the bottom of the stand. I think those are great. We got more parts for Curly here. Looks like we got his torso. So, we won't be able to put them all together yet, but we will have a little bit more. I guess it makes sense. Oh, we got his torso and his head. So, well, maybe. So we can actually put a little bit of Curly together. I will get Slappy out of there. I'll be putting this together as I can. It does make sense that more Build-A-Figure parts came with this one, as Slappy is probably the smallest figure. So that does make a little bit more sense if I can pop this in. All right, did I get it? Maybe. Okay. Actually, Curly looks pretty cool. He's got his rib cage there. I mean, for what it is. It'll be kind of a fun addition to the line. It looks about in the same scale as Slappy there, so nothing too bad. And of course we have one of his legs, so we can actually pop that in right here. Maybe. There we go. I don't see this standing very well once we have it. We will try. Like I said, it's not the best Build-A-Figure in the world, but hey, who's to say? We'll get there eventually. Get rid of some of this trash. We don't need all of this. Of course, we got the stand here. Very, very cool. I initially did not realize that these were trading cards. I think that's a really, really fun idea. As I can pop this out here. Maybe. I don't want to bend it, of course, but as you can see, the trading card pops right out of there. Very, very cool. That's classic. I noticed nothing scholastic on there, so they must not have rights. Well, there. Now I say that. There it is, right there. Lindy names the ventriloquist dummy she finds Slappy. Slappy is kind of ugly, but he's a lot of fun. Lindy's having a great time learning to make Slappy move and talk, but Chris is jealous of all the attention her sister is getting. It's no fair. Why does Lindy always have all the luck? Chris decides to get a dummy of her own. She'll show Chris. Then weird things begin to happen. Nasty things, evil things. No way a dummy can be causing all of the trouble. Or is there? That's intriguing for anybody. Of course, Goosebumps, we've had some Disney Plus series, and of course a couple of movies, and then of course we remember the old Fox series back in the day. So Slappy, not a lot of articulation, no mouth movement. I was hoping for some mouth articulation. That would have been kind of cool. He definitely looks like a dummy. I said, not like he's stupid. I mean, he doesn't look like the smartest guy in the world, but he looks like a ventriloquist dummy. That leg there, I like that bend, but let's see if he stands up well. Actually, he does. I'll be dang. He looks a little unsteady. But again, that's why we have the stand, right? That's the whole purpose. So again, stands we don't see as much these days, but I think it's kind of a cool thing, and I think these characters do better with a little bit of presentation. Like on your shelf, this thing pops like that. Without that, I don't know how well that pops, but overall, very, very cool figure. Like I said, I love the Goosebumps line. I plan to collect more, and I plan to unbox the rest of them on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Obviously, I do 3 unboxing videos a week, and so I try to give you variety. That's my biggest thing. Some people may like that, some may not. I don't know. I'm just trying to do the best I can. And I have so many other interests. Some weeks I'm like, hey, I want to unbox something Masters of the Universe, or hey, I want to unbox some Ninja Turtles. I need to unbox some DC Multiverse. I haven't unboxed any of those in a while, so it's always kind of ever-changing, as it were. But a lot of fun. But let me know in the comments down below. Have you picked up any of the Goosebumps figures, or do you plan to? They're all pretty well at most Walmarts now, from what I've seen. I do know Haunted Mask and Slappy, I think both sold out on Big Bad Toy Store, but I believe the other 3 are still available. If they are, I'll post it right here. But again, these may disappear. It could be one of those things where you wait too long, right? We've been guilty of that. I do know I bought the first 2, and then I bought the Mummy figure, and I waited a while before I bought the Mud Monster, and I did see a restock at my local Walmart. Other Walmarts I've been to don't have any. So again, anyone who's in the toy game knows that sometimes that changes very, very quickly. So you have to kind of be careful and plan accordingly at times. But overall, these are a lot of fun. Are they worth the money? Probably not to most, but to me, these are really, really cool. With that card and the stand and everything, I think it's a super fun idea. It adds a certain level of presentation where this will look really fun on a shelf. But again, let me know in the comments down below. Are you into Slappy? Are you into Goosebumps? Do you still read Goosebumps? I haven't read any of the new books in a very long time. It's hard to get into that as much nowadays, but I do love the classic stories. And they're very easy read. If you try to read them now, only about 100 pages, so not too much brain power is required for them, but still a lot of fun. But Goosebumps, man, it's always going to be a special place in my heart because it did help me kind of learn to read it in a way. And I talked about that before, where reading was not a strong suit for me. And at times I felt stupid, like I feel like I'm not able to read and other kids are. What's wrong with me? And a lot of it I think was, probably a level of ADD, ADHD maybe even, where I couldn't focus. Not that I couldn't read, I couldn't focus on the material. And Goosebumps brought that out where I was able to read and could read and honestly liked to read. And that was a huge milestone for me at an early age. So they will always have a special place in my heart simply for that reason. So definitely a lot of fun. But of course, check out my other unboxing videos here on the channel. I'm doing 3 unboxing videos every single week. On Monday this week was a really fun one. I dove into the Movie Maniacs line from McFarlane Toys and The Office. I unboxed Kevin Malone. Oh man, this was so cool. Dwight Schrute, I'm planning to pick up soon. I did see that actually the other day, so hopefully I'll be able to grab that. But so much fun. I have to get more of these figures. I am super into them. Really, really fun idea. And then on Wednesday, I unboxed a Mike Awesome from the Heels and Faces line from Zombie Sailor Toys. Another really, really fun one. And again, that's what makes these so fun. Is there's so many cool different figures you can pick up. And someone like Mike Awesome, we never would have expected to get that way back in the day. But again, that's what makes collecting in 2025 so cool. And then, of course, on Friday, I unboxed Geldor from Masters of the Universe Origins. Kind of a fun figure, a Mattel Creations exclusive, and one I'm glad to have in the collection. And again, we may not get another Geldor, so it's really cool to get him now. Very, very fun stuff. And then, of course, check out What's on the Pegs, dropping every Saturday to see what I'm finding out there in my toy hunts. And then once a month, I'm dropping Tales of the Toy Box. Episode 4 just went up a few weeks ago, all about Toy Biz X-Men Series 1. So check that out as well. And, of course, check out the TV Toycast podcast, dropping every Thursday with me and Travis, getting ready to drop episode 200. In fact, as you're watching this, it may have already dropped. Timeline's a little fuzzy sometimes, but episode 200. So if you're just now listening, if you found it recently, if you've been listening from the beginning, we sincerely thank you. 200 episodes is no easy feat, and we wouldn't be able to do it if you guys didn't listen, so we do appreciate that more than you know. But thank you guys for checking out the TV Toycast YouTube channel. That's Slappy from Goosebumps, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.